Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to That's Football, and what an evening we've got for you on That's Football tonight. It's Aston Villa against Tottenham in the FA Cup, and then later on we've got my legendary yearly Super Bowl stream live from 11 o'clock. But before we get into all that, the FA Cup is up and running. Marcus Rashford on the bench for Aston Villa, but Malen starts up front, another Aston Villa signing. We'll be taking a look at how seriously these teams are taking it, but it looks like Villa have gone quite strong. Respect to them for that, because not everybody has. Plymouth have knocked Liverpool out in the last hour of the FA Cup, but you look at that Liverpool lineup and you go, you know what? I was worried. Maybe I jinxed it. I said on Friday that I'm worried about Liverpool doing a treble. I needn't have bothered doing that video because Liverpool's treble dream is over. Some Liverpool fans say they can still do the treble. If you think the Carabao Cup, the Premier League and the Champions League is the treble, you need to replace the with a. It's a treble. It's not the treble. So it's over in relation to that. But they didn't take it seriously. They didn't pick the right team, did they? So we can digest that a little bit more in a moment. But we are sponsored by HelloFresh tonight as well. Fantastic, brilliant bit of promo for you. You can get 25% off with HelloFresh. If you don't know what it's all about, HelloFresh invites you to a culinary adventure, simplifying mealtime with its convenient meal delivery service and its diverse menu selections. The choice is vast. In this last week, I've had pesto baked bassa. I've also had quick spiced chicken and pepper bulgur, and I've also had this absolute banger, peri peri butterfly chicken breast chimichurri with chorizo, sour cream and baby gem salad. Absolutely fantastic. So many things you can order. All of your ingredients get delivered, and then on the back of the card you get your instructions there. So absolutely fantastic. Effortless cooking experience, utmost convenience. You don't need to go down the shops for anything. You get them all delivered for the week ahead. And the great thing is you can get, actually, we've got this completely wrong. It's better than that. I've read it completely wrong. Did I do it on purpose? That's Football viewers can actually use the code That's Football 2025 and get an incredible 50% off your first box and 25% off for the next 2 months, plus free desserts for life. If you've got a sweet tooth, you're laughing. Do go to the dentist regularly though. But what I would say is that 50% off your first box, so you could order yourself 3 or 4 meals for the week, get 50% off. If you like them, you can order more and get 25% off for the next 2 months, exclusively on That's Football with that code, That's Football 2025. Link is in the description, scan the QR code, and you get free desserts for life. So many amazing dishes to try, and as I said, you get your card with all your menu, with all your ingredients, and then all your instructions and nutritional value there on the left-hand side as well. Absolutely fantastic from HelloFresh, and look, it's great working with them because we get meals and stuff sent to and try, and I love it. I'll absolutely love it. So thank you very much to HelloFresh. Really appreciate that. Check out the brilliant code. Liverpool out. I'm the happiest man in the world, says Desiree. Liverpool lose to Plymouth. Ha ha ha, says Channel of Chucky. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. And Connor Hazard better than Eden Hazard, says Tanishk. Well, I'm loving this because Marcus Rashford sat on the bench, has been on the camera about half of this broadcast already on the BBC. And this is what we've had to deal with at Manchester United for the last 18 months. When he's not been playing well, every bloody camera is on him. And as Ruben Amorim said, take your questions to Birmingham. He's an Aston Villa player now. Not even starting, but it's all about Rashford. Let's have a look at the team news, though, because we can talk about the Liverpool thing. A lot of people getting in the chat about it. That's absolutely fine. Let's start off with the Spurs team, though. How seriously have they taken it? Well, Tell is starting for them. So is Son, Kulusevski. They've gone Kinksky in goal. Porro, Danzo, another new signing. Gray, Spence. Bergvall, Bentancur, Kulusevski. Moore, who is a very interesting player. Is it Alfie Moore or Luke Moore? I can't remember. He's a good player. Son on the left, Tell up front, and their bench has got people like Bissouma on it, Reguilon, but they're taking it quite seriously. You've got to agree they are taking it quite seriously. Then this is a breath of fresh air for this tournament actually, because Newcastle didn't take it seriously, Liverpool didn't take it seriously, Aston Villa are as well. They've got Martinez, Garcia, Konza, Kamara, Digne, McGinn, Tillemans and Rodgers, and Bailey, Ramsey and Mallon. That is a very strong Aston Villa side. Don't have many options on the bench. They've actually only got 7 players on the bench, but Rashford is there, Maatsen is there, and so is Asensio as well. So we should be in for a good cup tie because both teams are taking it seriously. So exciting to see what Tell's all about for Spurs. And obviously Mallon for Rashford. So, look, enjoy it, people. This is what football's all about. We don't often get an FA Cup tie that's this tasty. And we're sponsored by HelloFresh. Don't forget to check the link in the description or scan the QR code. But this is tasty, just like HelloFresh, because we've got 2 strong teams who both want to have a go, and 2 different strikers up front. Mallon, obviously Watkins is injured. Tell. I don't know what, I think Solanke might be injured as well. Asensio says Shiv is intriguing as well. So, yeah, it's very interesting. I'm sure we'll see Rashford at some point as well. I want him to do well. I do want him to do well. And the bottom line is, and we're going to talk about it, I mean, we literally, 8 o'clock show as a spoiler on the United Stand is called The Hard Truth. Because one way or another, there will be a story about Marcus Rashford at 8 o'clock. Was it a mistake? Was it the right thing? This, that, and the other. So, but I know Marcus Rashford is going to absolutely challenge for every 50-50, sprint for every sprint, run after every ball, and he hasn't done that for 18 months at Man United. Doesn't matter what anybody says. So we should see a better Marcus Rashford. Mikkels says that now Liverpool and Arsenal are out of the Cup, do you think Man United should focus on the Cup as a way to Europe? Or I think we will do. But we've also got to focus on the Europa League as well. 2 bites of the cherry. Big for Spurs. If they lose, Ange might be gone, says Barron. Ange getting the sack after this game, Mark, says Blake. And I can't believe it. I just left Home Park as a local and Argyle Green Army, says Martin Saunders. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Plymouth are flying after Rooney sacking. I wonder why, says Nelly. Have that, Liverpool, says Cameron. Well, Birmingham are doing well as well. Is that fair? But I'm excited to have a look at Tell. I've always liked Mallon. It'd be interesting to see if he can adapt to the Premier League as well. Obviously got Rashford at some point. So Danzo at the back really impressed me in the Euros with, was it Austria? I always get Austria and Switzerland mixed up. I think he played for Austria. I was really impressed with Danzo. He was meant to be going to Wolves. Spurs dropped in. So lots of intrigue in this game. Really looking forward to it. I'm going to go with a Villa win, though. Super Bowl is tonight, Frankie. Even if you just want to watch the first hour, stay up till midnight tonight. And then if you want to stay, you stay. But give it a go. It's a brilliant stream. And we've got some exciting stuff to show you as well. And we're up and running here. The time is going as well. But look, going back to Liverpool. Liverpool have been knocked out of the FA Cup. I'll say what I said on Twitter. I was worried about Liverpool winning the treble. I did a video on this channel on Friday. They were the favourites for the FA Cup. They're the favourites for the Champions League. They're going to win the league. And they're the favourites for the Carabao Cup. So they've got 4 trophies to play for. And the treble was on. The FA Cup, the Champions League and the Premier League. They have picked a reserve team today and they have been knocked out. The treble is not going to happen. And that's a bit like when everybody loses their unbeaten run in the Premier League and Arsenal fans know that the Invincibles thing can't be beaten. I'm surprised by it, but, you know, maybe Slot didn't see it as valuable. Here we go! 1-0. Oh, it is 1-0 already. 1-0 already. And it's Jacob Ramsey, who's having a great season for Aston Villa. And I've got to say, you're looking at the Spurs defence there. You're looking at the right-hand side of the Spurs defence there. You're looking at Danzo there. And Ange looks very, very unhappy. And I'm thinking that we're going to look back at this and go, what happened here? Just having a quick look. Yeah, it's the right back. Porro's out of position. Danzo's not aware of it behind him until it's too late. Doesn't get across quick enough either. And that's 1-0 to Aston Villa. But yeah, I mean, that's just Pedro Porro pushing forwards in the first few minutes. So much space down the left-hand side. Keeper should do better. I mean, you've got to look at the goalkeeper as well. Jacob Ramsey, let's have a look at this. hits it. Oh, it's bad keeping as well. I mean, yeah, it should be saved. That's bad goalkeeping. Porro out of position, and goalkeeper's got to do better. But early goal, Jacob Ramsey's playing brilliant at the moment as well. Ange getting the sack after this game. Well, bloody might be now. Bloody might be now. But yeah, just going back to the Liverpool thing, I'm glad they're out because they can't win the treble. But I've got to say, they didn't take it seriously. And I think the FA Cup has got a bit of an identity crisis in the fact that everybody's played so many games over Christmas. And if you're Newcastle and Liverpool, you've had to play 2 extra games because of the Carabao Cup semi-final. You come towards the FA Cup and it's an opportunity to rest your players. Liverpool played on Thursday night, and then they've got their game in hand against Everton on Wednesday. And then they've got a Sunday game smack in the middle. They've got every right, and it's common sense to make changes. But if they'd put their strongest team out, they're probably still in the FA Cup. So who's at fault there? Is it Liverpool for rotating? Not really. Is it the FA Cup for being stuck at a time where teams are playing too many games? I don't know. But I think that it's not really... you can't really argue with it. But great win for Plymouth, but it was their reserves. Mini Brew says, you asked who will stop Liverpool's treble? Well, it was Plymouth. Very, very much to the point. Thank you very much. Let's get this stats carousel rolling round. Is it rolling round? It doesn't seem to have... Okay, it is. It was. So 1-0 here already. Aston Villa are 1-0 up. Marcus Rashford is not starting if you've tuned in. Porro is always out of position. He can't defend, says Barron. I mean, look, I think there'd be a lot of Spurs fans saying first 90 seconds away from home to Aston Villa, don't bomb forward. And that's what he's done. But I think Villa have got their tails up now. You know, they've... watch out for Villa and top 5 is all I'm going to say, because that's what they want. I cannot overemphasise... Because, I mean, I live very close to Birmingham, but if you live close to Birmingham, Villa fans hate Birmingham and Birmingham hate Villa. But I know Villa and Blues fans, and I want them both to do well. I think if they're both in the Premier League, it's great for the area, and I want them both to do well. But so I enjoyed what Blues did last night, and I enjoyed I'm enjoying what Villa are doing. But what I like about the Villa ownership is that they're not going to get back in the Champions League this year. On January the 1st, Villa are not getting back in the Champions League because they're not going to win it, and they're not going to get in the top 5. So they're in big trouble. But what do? Rashford, Malen, Garcia, Asensio. They bring 4 players in, and Duran goes out, and they're stronger now for it. And that's ambition. And now Villa for me are like, well, we probably still aren't going to win the Champions League, but we can get in the top 5. And if we're in the top 5, we're back in it. That's another £80 million. And that's how to run a football club. Like, that is how you run a football club. You've got to speculate to accumulate. You've got to take risks. Because if you don't, you're definitely going to lose money. They got Disasi as well. I didn't know Disasi went to Villa. Well, there you go then. Very, very, very intelligent. What are your thoughts about Man City losing to Wigan? Man City are a disaster this season. It's got me interested in football again, says Ninja. When did Man City lose to Wigan? You play to win the game. Yeah, look. But look, I think Spurs have made a couple of interesting signings with Danzo as well. Hopefully we're going to get a good game. I certainly think it'll be an open game. Wouldn't it be great if we got like a 4-3 classic? But I think for Villa, it's about getting top 5, and that's what they're trying to do. Luke says, I'm a United fan, but Villa are my guilty pleasure. I'd love to see Morgan Rogers in red. Carl Cirilano says, how do you get the love for the FA Cup back again, Mark? I mean, I don't think... It's a great question. Get in the chat with this. How do you get the love for the FA Cup back? Well, look, Villa and Spurs are taking this very seriously. Look at Villa's team and look at Spurs' team. So why are they taking it seriously? For Aston Villa, they need to be in Europe next year. And the Europa League gives you that. Emery's always been a manager that takes cups seriously as well. So that's the justification for Villa. Spurs, this is their last chance, really. They're like Man United. It's the Europa League or the FA Cup for them, and they've got to take it seriously. They certainly can't be putting their reserves out. Newcastle are already in the Carabao Cup final and want to get in the top 5. And Eddie Howe's probably looked at it and said, I need to rest some players. They've still stayed in the tournament. Liverpool played on Thursday, got a massive game on Wednesday, and probably thought reserves would be enough to beat Plymouth. And they've gone out. So the justification for Liverpool and Newcastle playing reserve teams, you can understand it. You can also understand why Villa and Spurs are playing their first teams. It's just about where your priorities are. There's a lot of games, and I think teams have to prioritise certain things. And if you're in Liverpool's position, here's Tell. What's he all about? Nice ball into Son. Yeah, if you're in Liverpool's position, you can afford to be a little bit greedy because you've got so much going on. Thank you very much for your super chats that have come in, by the way. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to bookmark tonight, 11 o'clock. Even if you're going to lie in bed and just see what it's all about, we're live tonight for the Super Bowl. We do it every year and very excited about it. And we'll be alive. I'll probably be live before 11, but I've put 11 o'clock down for an 11:30 start. Hopefully we'll have some quite interesting stuff to show you as well. So very excited about it. Seb's been helping me sort out my American sweets and snacks, so we're all ready for that. I've got my top to wear as well, courtesy of the NFL. I don't know whether to go with the blue or the orange. I don't know. What do you think, blue or orange? We'll do a vote. We'll do a poll on that. If you need a backup for Dorgu, United need to call Liverpool and ask Tsimikas. He's rubbish. £5 million, says Howder. How are you feeling about being out of the FA Cup, actually, Liverpool fans? I mean, you might not be watching anything now. Yeah, keeper definitely should save that. I know Porro's out of position, but Danzo comes across to cover the back post, and the keeper's got to save that. I know neither of those teams are playing. That's just what I got sent. This is a repeat of the Super Bowl 2 years ago as well. Carl says, I don't understand the NFL. First 10 minutes of the show, I'll make it very simple for you. There's depth to the game, but it's actually very simple. Go orange, says Alex. I'll tell you what I find interesting about the Super Bowl is they play it. It would be like football doing a league system where they separate the Premier League into 4, and then everyone goes into a playoff, and then the one who wins it gets the Premier League trophy. It's like there is a lot of league games, but they don't really count for anything. It's all about qualifying for the playoffs. Then it's a knockout. I much prefer what we have, a league and then a separate cup tournament. But then it's this prestige, isn't it? Only one team in NFL actually wins anything. So you literally are the champions. Whereas in football, greed, more games, more tournaments. I mean, how that Club World Cup in the summer is an absolute scam. I mean, how can they seriously, whoever wins that tournament, how can they seriously stand there with the tournament and think they're the best club in the world? It's laughable. Villa, good play by Ramsey again, but no foul. McGinn's back though. Good tackle again. What was the film you watched last night? Oh, brilliant, Steve. Brilliant film. Thanks for reminding me. Recommendation, The Order with Jude Law. Bloody fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It was on my recommended when I logged on to Amazon Prime. Brilliant film. Definitely give it a watch. Sort of got vibes of, I don't know, like Wind River, No Country for Old Men, Heat, Mississippi Burning. Just like a combination of a load of good films that I like. I really enjoyed it. It was mustard. Yes, it was. Mohammed Idris says, if Spurs lose, then all the London clubs will be out of the cup. Not sure if that's happened before. And bye-bye Liverpool, says Mohammed Idris. Well, Millwall are still in it. Don't forget bloody Millwall, mate. You know. Nice play again by Villa. Digne just not quite there, but he gets on the end of that one, and that goes out for a corner. Hello, Mark. I'm really gutted as a Liverpool fan. Sums up everything wrong about American owners. I agree we have bigger worries, but this is inexcusable. Let us know how you feel, Liverpool fans. I mean, look, I didn't make that video lightly on Friday. I was genuinely concerned. I mean, the Man City treble doesn't mean anything, really. I was disappointed, but I can always justify it as no one respects them. But if Liverpool had won a treble or a quadruple, I'd have had a big problem with that, because I genuinely respect that rivalry, and they're our biggest rival. Corner from Villa, cleared away. Son follows it up, but lovely play here. They've still got it. It's lovely play. Really keeps going, and a wild shot. But that was, I'll tell you what, that would be encouraging for Villa fans. 16 there, new signing, Andres Garcia. Showed some finesse and flair there. Only 22 years of age. They're in again here. Mallon. Oh, I tell you what, got quick feet. I like Mallon. Yeah, brought him in from Levante. As I say, Villa have been very ambitious. Fair play for having a club that wants to try and be ambitious in January. United have won 6 of their last 8 games. It's a crazy stat, Sybil. It doesn't feel like it, mate. It really doesn't, but yeah. Rangers were put out of the Scottish Cup as well, similar to Liverpool games, says Lewis Partridge. Thanks for your super chat, Lewis. Ollie says, I think Slot wasn't bothered about the FA Cup as he doesn't want extra fixtures near the end of the season. Didn't bring on Jones and didn't have a strong bench. Yeah, no Salah. Kennelly says, I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm actually glad we rotated. And next game for Liverpool is the Goodison Derby. Yeah, we'll be doing a watch-along for that on Wednesday. They'll be going strong in that one. Both Merseyside clubs. Oh, what a good save. Thought it was going to be a goal. Leon Bailey. Yeah, both Liverpool clubs are out of the FA Cup, of course, this weekend. I'd say Liverpool out, Arsenal out, Chelsea out. I'd say Man City are favourites for that again. It's all Villa here at the moment, though, isn't it? Danzo clears. Slot's hard learning that you have to take cups seriously. If you don't, that happens. Probably just wants to win the Premier League and then build from that, says David. Yeah, you can understand that. Yeah, Ryan Hunter, this is the Danzo I liked at the Euros. Nasty tackle that by Porro and Ramsey. Spurs really need to take a look at their midfield, says Nelly. I think Spurs need to take a look at a lot of things. Is that the story then, that he's going to get the sack if they lose this game, Villa, Spurs? I mean, they've still got the Europa League, and as well, I mean, he has had an immense amount of injuries. Like, I know some people might not be happy about that, but it's still true. Emmanuel Jones says, I can't wait for Rashford to come on. I think he'll score 3 or 4 in the first 5 games. Then he'll start acting weird again. Look, I think that's a fair point. Look at Jadon Sancho. I was looking on social media this morning, actually. Chelsea fans getting really frustrated with Sancho. I didn't really watch the game yesterday, so I can't really comment. But he's certainly not turning up in Chelsea games with goals and assists on the regular, is he? Yeah, when they took him from Man United, it was United are going to get burnt here, Sancho's going to cook. And he hasn't cooked. I mean, he's had some games where he's been good, and he's had a lot of games where he's been below good. So he's not cooking, is he? He's not a player that looks like he's ever going to get back in the England squad. So I think when players go somewhere new, first few games, they tend to look quite good. But after 5 or 6 games is when you start to judge them. But Emery's a good coach. I mean, look, Emery might be able to keep Rashford on the straight and narrow. Go! Good save again. And Spurs Way says this goalkeeper isn't ready for this league. Well, it's a shot from distance. Tillemans, no, it wasn't a save. It was just wide. And I think the keeper was looking there, a bit worried. Daniel says, what would you do if we lose to this Spurs team? I know we've been poor. Yeah, Man United's next game is Spurs this week today, isn't it? Spurs need to win this after being pummeled 4-0, says James. Are Gale playing green, says Misha. Won today. Philly Eagles playing green. Conspiracy. Or coincidence. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I can't wait to start eating the food, actually. I'm going to starve myself from... I've just had a big Sunday dinner. About 3 o'clock. Then I went for a big walk. And I'm not going to eat anything now until 11 o'clock. And then I'm just going to gorge on crisps and chocolate. He said you only do it once a year. Thoughts on the Liverpool game, says Archive. We've sort of spoken about it, really. To summarise, Liverpool didn't take it seriously and paid the price. Why they didn't take it seriously, I can sort of understand. They've played a lot of games and obviously he wanted to protect and rest some players for bigger tournaments. I mean, look, you play Mo Salah in that game, pulls his hamstring, you might be out of the Champions League. So you've got to... The bottom line is, the only people to blame for this, it's not Arne Slot, it's not Liverpool, it's not the FA Cup. It's the wider footballing world who just keeps chucking more and more games. Like, we've got 8 qualifiers in the Champions League now. There's another tournament in the summer. It's just more games, more games, more games. And that will be a problem for the FA Cup. Here we go again. Oh, he's just shot wide that time, Ramsey. Malin's impressing me here. Really quick feet. I mean, did Malin get the assist on the Ramsey goal? No, Rodgers did. But that's worth its weight in gold for Villa, you know. I mean, that's something that Emery's going to have to unlock with Rashford. He's not creative. He doesn't pass. But Malin, Asensio, creativity is everything in the modern game. Spurs have been dreadful here. No shots at all in the first 20 minutes. I mean, Villa, this could be another... Could be another something, couldn't it? Kieran Parsons says, hi Mark, hope you're well. Very cold here. Wish I was in Dubai with Arsenal, but how's this game shaping up? Is that where Arsenal have gone? A good idea with a week off. Very good idea. I'd love some warm weather. I was watching Seb play today. I had 2 pairs of gloves on and my fingers were still going really... I have this condition. I've had it since I was a kid. I don't know whether anyone else has ever had it. Poor circulation in my fingers. It's called Raynaud's syndrome or something. Basically, when your hands get cold, it's sort of shut down a little bit at the end and the whole finger sort of goes white. I've always had it. I remember having it as a kid playing football. And they were killing me this morning. Absolutely killing me. And I just thought, you know what? I'd love to be lying naked on a beach in Mallorca. Obviously on a nudist beach. I mean, actually, the nakedness doesn't matter. A pair of Speedos would be fine. I just meant like whole body warmth. I don't want anyone else to be there as well. It's nothing kinky. I just actually was like, I'd love to be lying in the sun, getting some vitamin C. No, it's not a bit. Yeah, I did actually mean vitamin C because I wanted a big glass of orange juice, but I actually meant vitamin D. I knew the vitamin police had been in the chat straight away. It's not C, it's D. Yeah, I meant I had a big pint of orange juice with me because I was hot. Mark, is Aston Villa's Morgan Rogers team, or do you think there are bigger figures in the team? Spence late on Bailey there. A couple of tasty tackles gone in from Spurs players. Spence and Porro now on both Villa wingers. I think Villa's best player is... Look, I think the great thing about Villa is when they're playing well, they've got so lovely ball here into Malen. Look, what a ball! Oh, his creativity of Malen is absolutely fantastic. Got it into Jacob Ramsey, nearly. I'll tell you what, very impressed with Malen. Really impressed with him. Always was a FIFA GOAT. Although, here we go, put the cross in for Son. This should be a goal. What a miss, you prat! Oh, Son. What a miss. What a miss. Good save by Martinez, but Son's got to score that. I don't think he's offside. He's not. He's well on. Oh, you got to score that. What a miss by Son that is. I mean, it's a good save, but it's straight at him. Yeah, I was just saying that about Malen. I mean, just a really, really good debut here. And as I say, he's always been a EAFC or FIFA GOAT. You know, really good signing on that. But that doesn't mean you're good in real life. And PSV to Dortmund. Dortmund have moved him on. But, yeah, good player. And good debut here. Permanent player as well for Aston Villa. So he's more of their future than Rashford. Like, he's a player that's going to be part of their future. So very exciting there. What a miss by Son. Bad news for Villa, though. Cons is down injured here. Yeah, but as I was saying, though, very, very impressed by Malen. The link-up play is exactly what you want. See what happens here. He's coming off Konza. Lovely mug of tea. Yes. Mark, me and my boyfriend had a bet that I'll peg him if Liverpool Plymouth wins. He never thought they'd win. Can't wait for it to begin now. Also, I love your ears, says Ahana. Yeah, well, your boyfriend's getting what he deserves. In more ways than one. Thanks for that info. And I think we're all going to be stuck with that as we fall asleep tonight. Thank God I'm up until very late doing the Super Bowl. Yeah. Ollie Phillips, are you the halftime show? And for the Super Bowl. Also, going back to what Rajaf said, great comment actually. Is Aston Villa Morgan Rogers' team, or do you think they are bigger figures in the team? I think the brilliant thing about Aston Villa is that they've got so many players that can be a game changer. But if everything goes well, then they've got a collective. Ollie Watkins, I know Duran's gone now, but he was a match winner. Tillemans, McGinn, Ramsey. Obviously, they've brought in, you've got people like Leon Bailey, Morgan Rogers. They're adding people like Malen, maybe Rashford now. Son's fell off a cliff in recent years, says Alex. He's really disappointing, actually, Son. I mean, things aren't going well for Spurs, and you'd want a player like Son to be stepping up to the plate a little bit more, really. Of course, Villa's biggest problem at the moment is injuries to the centre-backs. They're almost turning into the new Spurs. Kamara's a good midfielder that they're having to use at the back. Trying to think of all the the Villa players that are centre-backs who are out injured at the moment. Someone do me a list. Johnny says, it'll be typical that Spurs lose badly again and then beat United next week. I bet Rashford scores if he comes on. Yeah, but you'd fancy... I'd fancy Rashford and Malen to get off to a good start with this Villa side, because they do create good amounts of chances. And look, first 3 games for Malen and Rashford. Spurs at home, dodgy defence. Ipswich at home, dodgy defence. Chelsea at home, dodgy defence. So you'd fancy chances, wouldn't you? I mean, first 3 games are Liverpool, Arsenal, and I don't know who's got a good defence other than them two. You'd probably be a little bit worried, but you'll get chances in this team. Look, there's so much space. He's going to play this into Malen. Greedy git, Leon Bailey. 2 good saves by the keeper, though. One from Ramsey and then one from Bailey first. How to watch the Super Bowl, says Mr. Starfish. I don't know, mate. I mean, it's on terrestrial TV. I think it's on ITV. It's on Sky. It'll be on everywhere, won't it? Forrester strong defensively, Samuel. Yes, good one. Rashford can't play against United, can he, says Fraser. No. I'm not sure which of my teams has it worse, Spurs or the Cowboys. No solutions in sight, says Scrog. And John says, I'm a Liverpool fan from New York. This proves that FSG are cheap. If Mo Salah or Van Dijk go down, our season will go down too. I think you lost Gomez, didn't you, today? And Kieran says, yes, Arsenal, same as last few seasons, have gone to Dubai. I think they left day after Newcastle semi-final, says Kieran. That'd be good for him. Some warm weather training. Oh, that's a tea. That's a cup of tea, I tell thee. Thee by gum. I'd love to be... I know we're sponsored by HelloFresh, and it's an amazing offer you can get. 50% off your first box. Trust me, you'll love it. Links in the description. Scan the QR code. But I'd love to be sponsored by a tea brand. What's the best tea? People say Yorkshire tea. I've never really got it. That's probably... I don't know what that is. Goldbridge should make some tea. Mate, I've had loads of offers for stuff like that. Spurs Way says, our midfield is so easy to bypass. Thanks, mate. Do you like green tea? I prefer peppermint. Bergvall, wild and over. There's arguments going on in the chat about Lions tea, Tetley tea, Yorkshire tea, PG tips, Audi Gold. Mario G says, who do you think will be promoted from the Championship? Definitely Leeds. Driving with Goldbridge is back this week, by the way. Was meant to do one last week, but I actually went away. So if I'd have done that, yeah, I'd have been doing it from a steam room because I went to a spa. Fantastic. First time I've been to a spa. I don't think I really did the whole spa thing properly though, because went in the spa for about an hour, hot tub, steam room, and then by 3 o'clock I was like, let's go to the pub, which I don't think you meant to do. Okay, let's have a look at what people are saying in the chat. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Get involved with That's Football. Some cracking watch-alongs to come this week as well. We've got Man City at home to Real Madrid, first leg of the Champions League qualifier. And then Wednesday night, obviously, we've got Liverpool against Everton. Everton against Liverpool, it's at Goodison. And then on Friday night, Chelsea play Brighton. in the Prem, which I think it'll be an interesting one. But of course, the biggest watch along tonight is the Super Bowl. Can't wait for that. It grows every year. I think we started doing it a few years ago. We had about 6,000 watching. Last year, we had about 9. So it grows every year, and we're converting more and more people to the Super Bowl watch along. It's just a great event, and I'll talk you through how easy it is to get into it. But that's for later. This is for now. Villa still 1-up. Should be 1-1. Son missed a great chance, but Villa have been the better side. There is no doubt about that. How often do Brits use tea bags versus loose leaf tea? Says Kay. I just use tea bags. Can't be bothered with the old loose leaf, if I'm being honest. Come on. Come on, Spurs. You need to start creating some chances. Cross from Porro. Goes for a corner. What's your favourite coffee brand? I don't drink decaf. I try to avoid caffeine as much as possible. Super Bowl prediction. Daniel, I would love the Eagles to win because the Chiefs remind me of Man City, but I think the Chiefs will win. Here we go. Oh, too long with the pass. Son can't get on the end of it. Villa's attack is solid. Defence struggles at times, says George. And thank you very much. And Cami says, I love your ears. They are the perfect shape. The fact that when you get angry, red-faced, and your ears don't change colour to red, it looks great. Thank you, mate. Thanks for your super chat. That's what I was going to have a look at, actually. I want to have a look at the injury room. So, you've got Aston Villa, Pau Torres, not back till March. Matty Cash, not back till the end of Feb. Taro Mings, middle of Feb. Ollie Watkins, middle of Feb. Ross Barkley, middle of Feb. So, if that's the case, Cons is injured. They don't look like they got that many injuries at the back that I thought they did. Tottenham, Solanke is back at the end of Feb. Romero, end of Feb. Dragerson, no return date. ACL. Bloody hell. Van der Ven, no return date. And Richarlison, no return date. Villa on the attack. Nice ball into Ramsey. And the keeper's going to get there. What's happened to that centre-back that always got injured for Aston Villa? Was meant to be really good. Did his cruciate straight away. Starbucks. No, not Starbucks. Costa. Disasi is cup-tied. I mean, Disasi will be useful for them in the league. But, yeah, what happened to that Costa? They must have got rid of him. Carlos, that's it. He went to Fenerbahce. Yeah, it didn't work, did it? I mean, Disasi will be good for them. Villa's whole season rests on getting some centre-backs, really. Longley went back a long time ago, didn't he? He was alone. Where's Maddison? Where's Maddison? Is it the darts? Is he on the bench? No. Well, where's Maddison then? He wasn't even on the bloody injured list. Must be at the darts. Missing texture says he is injured. Liverpool to drop points on Wednesday, says Paul. And last ever Merseyside derby at Goodison Park, then Villa and City away coming up. This league isn't over. It is. It isn't, but it is. In my mind, it's over. But, tell you what, if Rashford's on it, this is quite a good game for him. There's a lot of space against that Spurs defence. Captain says, there's tea bags in the sink. If you know, you know. Yeah, used to work with someone who hated it. I didn't even used to drink tea at work, but there was this guy who the kitchen was at the end of the office, and if anyone shouted in the kitchen, you could hear it when you were working at your desk. And there was this guy who one time exposed a weakness, and I was sat at my desk, and all I heard was, "Oh my God, tea bags in the sink! Absolutely disgusting! It's like living with pigs." And he absolutely lost it. He was really, really, really lost it. So obviously, if you're a bit of a joker, that's a bit of a red rag to a bull. So I would pop into the kitchen, boil the kettle, stick 3 tea bags in a cup, leave it for about a minute, drain off the water, and just drop the tea bag steaming into the sink. And I'd figured out that he used to go and make himself a cup of tea sort of every hour and a half. So if you did this about 10 minutes before he did it, those tea bags would still be steaming in the sink when he went there. And every time, it just got worse and worse. I stopped doing it in the end because I actually thought he might give himself a heart attack. But he'd go, "Oh God, there's somebody done it again! There's somebody done it again!" Never expose a weakness to a joker. Predictions for the last Goodison derby, says Solski. Look, I hope Everton can make. I mean, North London derby, Manchester derby, Merseyside derby. They're meant to be a great leveller, and there has been some great games between Liverpool and Everton in the past. Obviously, I would love Everton to win that game, and I hope it's going to be a really ferocious affair. Looking forward to it, but I don't know. I don't know. Last derby at Goodison as well, which is a sad thing. In fact, Man United are there the week after, so we've got our last ever game at Goodison. Always been my favourite away ground is Goodison. Always has been since a kid. Just loved it. And it's sad because that's a ground that I remember when I first got into football. There was just something magical about Goodison Park. And it's going to be gone. Mark, would you rather Spurs situation or injured situation, says the missing texture. What what do you mean? Would you rather the Spurs situation or the injured situation? Isn't Spurs situation the injured situation? Aren't you banned from Goodison? Yeah. To this day, I don't even know why. Basically, I got asked to play in a charity game, and the brand that were organising it were really excited, and then I got a phone call from them saying, "You can't go." And I was like, "Why?" And they were like, "We're trying to appeal it, but Everton Football Club won't let you." And I was like, I've never done anything to bloody Everton. I don't like Liverpool." And they were like, "Yeah, they've got a problem, and it's right the way at the top of the club, and they won't tell us what it is." And I was like, "I'd love to know what it is, because I don't know what it is." It can only be like the Sean Dyche impression, or I think Pickford's a bit shit. Lovely ball here. Good defending. No, he's still got it. The funny thing was, the following week, I played at Anfield in a charity game. Make that make sense. We tried to find out, Ashton. We never did. Even what's the lad's name who is an Everton fan? God, I can't remember his bloody name now. I've had a complete and utter brain blank. He's a content creator for Everton. Dark hair. Really nice lad. He was stunned because he works with Everton. He was like, I can't understand why they're being like that. Still Ryan, yeah. Three minutes to go to half time. I feel like Villa will want to put this game to bed, really. At 1-0, Spurs are still in it, of course. Lovely play by Mallon. Oh, I tell you what, it's not a bad cross. He's given a free kick, I think. Leon says, dream car, I would like to drive a 1990 Vauxhall Cavalier or a Ford Mondeo. I remember when I was growing up in the 90s, Leon. Ford Escort XR3i. That was a car. Ford Fiesta XR2i. I mean, they'd look really shit today, but they were proper good. And oh, what about a Ford Capri? Capris were amazing. Cosworth. Yeah, Ford were it in my day. I say my day. I was a kid. They're a bit shit now, aren't they, Ford? I can't even think of any Ford cars that people drive. Ford Focus. Even they're outdated now. Sierras, yeah. I'm not a car nerd, absolutely not. Will you be banned from the new Everton Stadium, says Tom. I'll ban myself, mate. I'm not a big fan of new stadiums. I find them soulless. Give me Villa Park or Anfield or Goodison every day of the week. Obviously Old Trafford, but they're going to knock that down. I just don't get why people get an hard-on for new stadiums. I don't get it. Highbury was way better than the Emirates. Main Road was better than the bloody Etihad. That stand they had at the main road, the main stand. Oh, it was amazing. I'll give Liverpool credit. They'll never leave Anfield because it's important to them as a football club. They have an identity and a soul. So what they've done is they've updated it. They've kept it modern, even though it's an old stadium. Liverpool would never let what's happened to Old Trafford happen. And here we are, United fans again, arguing with each other whilst the Glazers fucking destroy the football club with Sir Jim. We're going to knock down Old Trafford. It would never happen to Liverpool. They would never, ever allow that to happen to Anfield. It would not be allowed to happen. It's sacrilegious. It's symbolic, and they wouldn't let it happen, and it wouldn't happen. But at Man United, oh yeah, let's just knock it down and build a bloody big American-type stadium that's dog's bollocks, but won't be dog's bollocks in a couple of years. Rub says, how are we all doing? I've lost interest in football. Chelsea has devastated me. Can't wait for Marcus Rashford Lahore to come on as a sub. And Solski says, I had a Rover Metro a year ago, blew the engine up. And Ross McRae Magician says, given Luke Littler was on the United stand, would you ever do a darts watch along? Thoughts on no VAR in the Cup all weekend, given Maguire offside? Well, look, the goal that was given for Newcastle yesterday was terrible, wasn't it? Say says, crazy to think 4 of the big 6 will be out before the last 16. Missing Texture says, I meant to say, would you rather the Spurs situation or the United situation? I don't think either club is in a great position long term, if I'm being completely honest. Spurs on the attack. Here's Spence, he might shoot. Straight at the keeper. Are you worried about your sleep? No, I do it every year, don't I? I mean, I'm fully... I think in previous years, I really hoped the Super Bowl would be finished by 3 a.m. and it can be finished by 3 a.m. But if it's 4 a.m., I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered. You know, it's one night every year. I look forward to it. I've got plenty of sweets to keep me buzzing. So, yeah. Mark, why have you and Ben Foster broke up? Rumours in the market that you asked him to come oiled up for the football fill-in. Says Jarvis. We're not broke up. I went out for a meal with him last month. It just doesn't work for me to be where they film every Monday anymore because it takes up half my day. So we're trying to find another way. People are very obsessed with me being oiled up. Anyway, at half-time here, it is 1-0 to Aston Villa. And thoroughly deserved too. They've been the better side, but Spurs still had a very, very good opportunity. Now, if we look at the stats here, that's the story of the half. 52% possession against 48. 4 shots on target to 2. 2 corners to 1. That makes out that it's been quite an equal game. I'm going to stand up. I'm not... to me, it doesn't feel like it was that equal, if I'm being honest. It felt like a more less equal game. What's different about me? Yeah, it felt like a more equal game, but I think Villa have been the better side, in my opinion. So, yes. Don't forget, tonight we're doing the Super Bowl. We're ready to go. Where's my ball? I'm going long. How did I miss that? I'm going long. Because I can't... How did they see in this? How do you see in this? I don't bloody know. Catch. Touchdown, bitch. Yeah, join me tonight for the Super Bowl. Ready to go with that. Can't wait. Got some more props as well. That's my team actually, the Bills. I thought look all right in that. Yes, yeah, I think I don't know whether Ange is going to get the sack actually, but I suppose you've still got the Europa League, haven't you? But I'm just pleased that both teams are taking it seriously. That's what I think. I've got another one here. I actually think I suited Bobble out. I don't look too bad in that one. Yeah. Tell you what, I don't care about fashion. It's about... it's not too bad. I'm not really a hat person, but that's not too bad. Sort of goes with the set as well. I'll tell you what, you might look an idiot, but you'd be happy of wearing this in a cold day. But, yeah, I think that's Washington Commanders now, isn't it? There's one more. There's one more. Yeah, that one's not as good. I sort of look like I look like something. I'm getting the word nonce. Yeah, but lovely. There we go. Excited about that tonight. Bring it on. Bring it on. Yeah, what we're talking about, FA Cup. Yeah, I think Villa deserve to be leading at the moment, but Spurs probably... Well, look, it's not a league game, it's a cup game, so they've got to push for it. As I say, I can sort of predict, look, Villa have had 11 shots to 3. They have been the better side. Spurs, to me, look, next Sunday, Spurs against Man United, it's battle of the shittest, really. Sometimes it's battle of the fittest. This time it's going to be battle of what I just said before. But look, we're here for the FA Cup. Spurs have got to try and keep their season alive. They're like Man United. They're not very good, but they also need European football financially. Spurs can't afford not to be in Europe. If they get knocked out tonight, they are in a last chance lottery when it comes to the Europa League. And if they don't win the Europa League, Spurs won't be in Europe next year. And if they're not in Europe next year, then financially they're going to be in trouble, aren't they? It's cute seeing a Brit get into American football, says Jide. I've been into it for years. About 4. I'm sure you've answered this already, Mark, but who you got for the Super Bowl? Love the streams. I think the Chiefs will win it. They're going for 3 in a row. Mahomes is obviously the best quarterback in the world, but the Eagles aren't a bad side, and it's going to be 2 very I think it's going to be quite low scoring, actually. I love the Super Bowl. Talk about this being Ange's last game, says Jack. I really feel bad for him, not deserved, and can't wait. What will change? Same as United in a way. Yeah, I think this is a great point from Jack. Spurs fans wanting change. What's next? Like, who would be the next Spurs manager? Like, where would you go next? Well, I'll tell you where you'd go next. Next Spurs manager odds, right? Prepare for this. Thomas Frank, the Bournemouth manager, Pochettino, who's already got a job, so you're not getting him. Kieran McKenna, Eric Ten Hag, Marco Silva, Allegri, Alonso, no chance. He got no chance of getting Alonso. So I don't see any. I think Spurs are in a very similar situation to Manchester United. The fans demand better and deserve better, but you look at Liverpool, you look at Aston Villa, you look at Chelsea, you look at Arsenal, you look at Manchester City, you look at Newcastle. That's 6 teams who are richer than you, better equipped than you, and have a better plan than you. And still, Man United and Spurs think sacking the manager is going to make them better. And it's a conversation that doesn't happen because it's too in-depth. It's almost like too high Q for ex-players in the mainstream to discuss. So they're always push the manager out angle. But you sack Ange and you sack Amorim, not that Amorim's going to get sacked, and you replace them, they still come into clubs that are fundamentally flawed and they will fail. And if Ange had the right players, Spurs would be better. And if Amorim had the right players, Spurs would be better. So, as Man United would be better. But what people fundamentally miss out on is, if Spurs replace the manager, will he have the funds to succeed and compete? No. Will Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool, Man City, Aston Villa, are they going to suddenly drop off and invite Spurs back into the top 6? And then that's not even thinking about Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, Fulham. I think the road back for Spurs and Man United is an arrogant road. I've said this on the United stand so many times. We are exactly where we should be. 13th, 14th, we're exactly where we should be. And this divine right that we change the manager or we'll be back in 2 years in the top 4, I don't see it. I don't see it for Man United and I don't see it for Spurs. I look at Man United and key players in 2 years will be pretty much done. Bruno will be well into his 30s. Maguire will be nearly mid-30s. You look at Spurs, Son will be approaching his mid-30s. I don't see the long-term plan for these clubs. I really don't. But I see a long-term plan for Liverpool. I see a long-term plan for Arsenal. I see a long-term plan for other clubs. I think it's a long way back for Spurs, is what I'm trying to say. Krishna says, just imagine next week, United versus Spurs, Ruben versus Ten Hag, what a drama it will be. Spurs won't go for Ten Hag. No way they'll go for Ten Hag. They interviewed Ten Hag the summer before he came to Manchester United and he failed the interview, so I can't see that changing. Liking Trash says, what about Southgate for Spurs? I tell you what, I would love to see Southgate at every other club apart from Man United. I would love to see that failure because he's not good. He's not a very good manager. But would I wish that on Spurs? I wouldn't wish it on them, but I'd like to watch it. Fighting Irish says, is Rashford on? I want to see, as a United fan, Spurs should get Ten Hag, get them the trophies, and in my opinion, he could do a serious job for them. I think Ten Hag would fail at Spurs, to be honest with you. Does the missus like your helmet? Says Sam, very immature. Hi, Mark. I made the Koulibaly edit of you before, says Shane. Thank you, Shane. Kalidou Koulibaly. Pockets for Mino and Marnie. It's cute seeing a Brit. I've done that one from Jide. And at least United was once great. Spurs were never great, says Sai. And Spurs Way says it would probably be the Bournemouth manager or Ryan Mason. Is right. What does Ryan Mason do now? Is he managing in the lower leagues? I mean, he always seems to interim, doesn't he? Assistant coach at Spurs. And he's twice been an interim. Yeah, could well be him then. At least United was once done that from there. Thank you very much. FA Cup draw is tomorrow at 7 o'clock. No Liverpool in it. Arsenal already out. No Chelsea in it. One of Spurs and Villa are going out. So, I mean, look, it's going to be potential for another Manchester derby FA Cup final, 3rd year in a row. There's one or two teams that might have something to say about that, but just looking at who's left in the cup. Wolves, Plymouth, obviously the winner from this. Millwall, Man City, Ipswich, Bournemouth, Preston North End, Burnley, Cardiff, Fulham, Newcastle, Brighton, obviously Manchester United as well. And there still are Crystal Palace against Doncaster and Exeter against Nottingham Forest. So, yeah, on paper, you'd probably say that. Bournemouth could win it. Hey, look, Fulham, Bournemouth, Brighton, all should be taking this tournament really seriously. They're having, well, Brighton maybe not, but Fulham and Bournemouth are having a fantastic season. I've always said this, take the FA Cup seriously. It's a route into Europe, and it's a trophy that you might, you very rarely win a trophy with Bournemouth, do you, or Fulham? What about Graham Potter for Spurs, says Keel. He's already at West Ham, mate. He's already got a job now. Egan says Liverpool are bottling the league. I'd love to know what you base that upon, mate, because it's not going to happen. Can I just say, yes, I can. Bottom right-hand corner is to subscribe to the channel. But we are sponsored by HelloFresh on the show today. And it's an absolute banging sponsorship. You can get 50% off your first food box and 25% off every subsequent one for the next 2 months. And you get free desserts for life. What is HelloFresh? Well, you can go on their website. Diverse food options delivered to your door. You can order 3 or 4 meals for the week. You get a card with every meal you get. You get beauties like that, peri peri butterfly chicken, loads of things to choose from. You get all the ingredients, so there's no extras down the shop. And then you get the instructions on the back with the nutritional value. 50% off your first order and then 25% off for the next 2 months. Really takes out gets rid of the inconvenience of planning ahead for the week with everything delivered to your door. And with 50% off the first order, it's a no-brainer to give it a go. And I think you'll be very impressed. Links in the description, scan the QR code, and it's That's Football 2025 is the code. Desserts-wise, they do them fantastic little pots, of which there are loads of flavours like lemon cheesecake, Millionaire's caramel cheesecake and all that. You know, GU, I think it's pronounced goo. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. You could get your missus one for Valentine's Day. I mean, I'd love to be there, Cubed. If anybody's thinking about ordering a HelloFresh box for Friday for their missus, or mister, or whatever else, you get 50% off for a start. Imagine their face on Friday when they open up this big box and see a load of food for them to cook. I mean, I sent you photos in on Friday because I think this is a great idea. Wasn't me who suggested it, but hey, it's a good one. Southgate is such a poor manager with a lack of tactical awareness. He has probably already got a 10-year Sky Sports punditry contract lined up, says James. Sir Gareth Southgate, by the way. Remember, he got a knighthood for being the shittest manager ever. I'd love to see Raul Jimenez win a trophy with Fulham, says OTG. And please can you call Fraser Swan a prat, says Ryan Borthwick. Goldio says, does Ange actually deserve the sack if they lose today? And I feel sorry for Bournemouth. You know they are going to get City, says Brian. Players are coming out for the second half. Very excited about that. Don't forget, tonight as well, we have got our yearly... There's 2 streams we do on this channel that are not football, that are epic and grow every year in their appeal to the hardcore. We have our charity stream every November international break where we're consistently raising £40,000 every time. Amazing work from the community around that. We also have tonight our annual Super Bowl stream, which started off as a little bit of a cult thing and grows every year. And tonight, we're taking it to another level. We've got some nice extras to add into the show. But we've also got the usual stuff as well, i.e. the American sweets, drinks and crisps. Goldbridge will be trying some of those. And I will be explaining the game. I've never played the game, but I know the game. And you can be checking that out as well. The Super Bowl. They say it's the biggest game in the world. I don't think it's bigger than the World Cup, but it's good. Basuma coming on for Spurs. Tell me a question, and give me an answer to this question. What happened to that Everton player that Aston Villa signed? Onana. Mate, you can laugh all you want about the Super Bowl. Some of us enjoy watching it, and there'll be a lot of people who tune in for the first time who end up going, I'm going to watch this every year as well. If you don't like it and you want an early night on a Sunday, that's absolutely up to you. But some of us enjoy it, and I think a lot of people will get converted to it tonight as well. It's a fantastic affair, and the half-time is always a good thing to react to. Onana, right, that they got from Everton, yeah? You know the hipsters on TikTok and Twitter who talk about players like, oh, this player at this club would be an absolute game changer. I've analysed everything about him, and he's definitely underrated. Well, Onana at Everton was one of those players that, if he goes to Manchester United, he'll be a game changer. If he goes to Arsenal, he'll be a bloody game changer. And he's gone to Aston Villa, and I know Villa fans, and they're like, he's definitely not been a game changer. He's injured anyway, but... Oh, Leon Bailey's caught a bit of studs there from Danzo. I think he's okay. Would you take Bill Belichick at and Brady at United to Super Donut? I like what Brady's doing with the Blues at Birmingham City over what we're getting with the bloody... More came off for Basuma, by the way. What we're getting with the Glazers. That should have been a red for Danzo. Well, you got no VAR. Amram's red. So there's been a few tackles over the weekend that I think could have been red card referrals in the Prem, but there is no VAR. Iqbal says, I'm really disappointed that Slot didn't take the FA Cup seriously. Our FA Cup record is historically pretty poor. I definitely think you had an opportunity to win the treble, mate. I really do. I'm surprised. But I also understand why he's rotated, because there's such a volume of games, isn't there? You had a good day today, Mark, says Dan. I've had a good Sunday, actually. I was up early, went and watched Seb play football, did a bit of cooking, then had a lovely Sunday dinner, went for a walk, and then live with you lot. United stand after this, and then the Super Bowl later on. I mean, it's exciting. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. I mean, I'm going to be knackered tomorrow, but just got to catch up on your sleep. That's all you got to do. Dougie can't believe Liverpool lost. I'm so far behind. Kenneth Tierney says, our Onana's better than your Onana. Well, you're probably right. Thanks for your super chats, by the way. Do that through the $sign. We'll read those out. I'm sure we will see Rashford at some point, but remember Asensio is also on the bench for Aston Villa. I think in some ways he's a more exciting signing. Be interesting to see what he can do. Good play by Digne, but Kulusevski. So many Spurs players that have got so much more to them who've just inexplicably sort of fell off, haven't they? Very, very interesting how people like Kulusevski and Son really haven't stepped up in the last few weeks for Spurs, have they? Who do you think is going to win the FA Cup? I mean, look, dependent on the draw, I'd say we might get a really exciting one, to be honest with you. I've got a feeling it might be Man City, but I'd say on paper, Man City are the strongest team left in it, aren't they? I mean, I'd love United to win it because we're back in Europe then. Mate, look, why would you write off Aston Villa? Emery's always had a very good record in the Cup. They've got a strong squad. Who do we want in the next round? Plymouth at home. Who's the worst team left in it? I'm not saying Plymouth. Plymouth did a great job today. Millwall at home. Yeah, Preston at home. Cardiff at home. Yeah, or Plymouth, something like that. An easy game. Man United just need an easy way. Philip says, if you were the coach of Liverpool, would you have put a strong team out or a weak team? Oh, here's Son again. Good defending there by Bogard. Came on for Konza. If I was Liverpool's manager, they've just played a really big game on Thursday night against Newcastle to get to Wembley. They've then got a massive game at Goodison Park on Wednesday. You know both those games are going to be high intensity. So if you put big players into a game on Sunday, the chances of injury are going to be much bigger. Now, do you take that risk in the fourth round of the FA Cup when an injury to a Van Dijk or a Salah could put them out for the next 6-7 weeks? So I am going to rotate, and I'm going to gamble that my rotations will be enough to beat Plymouth. The problem is that the gamble didn't work, but I can't knock it based on the intensity of the Newcastle game on Thursday and what's to come on Wednesday. And it doesn't end there for Liverpool, of course, because whilst, yeah, okay, they've got that game on Wednesday and they did play Newcastle, they're playing Manchester City. They're playing Wolves on Sunday. They've got big games coming up. So they can't afford injuries. You've got to rotate. You think Villa trying to sign Rashford... Callum says, you think Villa try sign Rashford, is he does well? Kenneth says, I was being ironic, Mark. I meant United's an honour. I know you did. Aaron Jones says, fly, Eagles, fly. I'll be here tonight, Mark. Could you rank these American foods? Buffalo wings, barbecue ribs, Philly cheesesteaks, and biscuits and gravy. I think biscuits and gravy would be bottom because I've never had it. Philly cheesesteak, I haven't had for years, but it's absolutely lovely. Used to have it all the time somewhere in Ireland, and I can't remember where it was, but I used to have it all the time. I think it was Smith's Pub in Malahide. That would be number one. Barbecue ribs, number two. Buffalo wings, 3. Philly cheesesteaks, lovely though. I need to do a tour of America and just eat food. Not like I don't want to do one of those Goldbridge meets food, like where I have to win the challenge. I'd rather just put a video there and chat about football whilst eating. Villa have got a player down here, Digne. Freddie with a good point says, 7 games in 21 days. Slot chose to rest the first team in the least important game to focus on the league, which you can sort of understand. But what it also raises, Freddie, is that Liverpool now can't win historic treble because Slot quite rightly has rested players. So is it impossible now for teams to win the treble unless you've got a huge squad? Secondly, what does that mean for the FA Cup when the best team in England can't respect it? So I've said this about the FA Cup before. Its identity is in danger because they've got rid of replays and still teams, I think quite rightly, are seeing it as an opportunity to rest players. But not in this game. Spurs and Villa have both gone strong. And I feel like I've watched Villa a few times recently, and I think they're very good in the first sort of 20 minutes of a game. And you almost feel like I watched them play West Ham, and they should have won the game in the league. They should have been 3-0 up in the first 20 minutes. They end up 1-1. And I think it's heading that way again, where Villa started off really well. Maybe could have been 2-0 up, only 1-0, and Spurs coming back into it could get back into it. Basuma goes for a corner. What's more important, the FA Cup or the league? Says Silent. 100% the league, isn't it? Wolves TV says, could Wolves win the FA Cup? I very much doubt it, mate, but you've got to be in it to win it, and Wolves are in it. John says, have you ever been to Belfast? If so, is it any good? I've been a couple of times, John. I like Belfast, yes. Ghazi Barber says, the best team in England lost to a better side. Stop denoting the FA Cup when it's spectated more than other countries' leagues. Well, mate, that's a really intelligent way of sort of propagandering your point. Because, you know, everything you've said in that statement is true. The best team in the league did lose to a better side, and the FA Cup is watched a lot more than other national leagues. But also, I can rip it apart and say Liverpool put out their reserves. So Liverpool are the best team in the league, but they didn't put their best team out. And that is why Plymouth won. And the FA Cup is watched a lot more than some national leagues, but it could be watched a hell of a lot more if it could get teams to actually take it seriously, which a lot of teams don't, which I think is problematic. Do you prefer a lad's holiday or a family holiday, says Philippe? Definitely a family holiday now. 18, definitely a lad's holiday. Villa, cross into the box. Good defending by Spurs. Don't normally put those two words together, but it was good defending. Time to sit back down. Kulusevski, left, right-hand side, cuts in on the left. He's definitely going to shoot. And it's straight at Martinez. Mr. Starfitch, thank you very much for your super chat. What do you think about Chelsea FA Cup loss, says Ashish. Look, Brighton away is a difficult game. Brighton's season is pretty much over. They're not going to get anywhere near the top 5. And they've got no European football. So I think that Brighton need to take the FA Cup really seriously. They've got a good squad. And I think they're underachieving. I think Brighton are underachieving when you look at their squad comparable to Bournemouth. So, yeah, I think that's a difficult game for Chelsea. And they lost 2-1. They didn't play particularly well, I don't think. But Chelsea's season will be defined by what they get, what European tournament they're in at the end of the season. Now, if they win the Conference League, you're in the Europa League. If you win the FA Cup, you're in the Europa League. So, come see, come saw. If you get in the top 5, you're going to be in the Champions League. So, I'm not saying Chelsea lost on purpose to Brighton, but ultimately, going out to Brighton won't be massive if you get top 5 or you win the Conference League. And Chelsea are 4th place at the moment. They're top 4 by 2 points. So, people can say Chelsea have had a bit of a bad run recently, and in their last 6 games, they have lost 2, drawn 2, and won 2. So their form isn't fantastic, but they're still 2 points clear of 5th place in 4th. And here we go. Game over. Good save by the keeper that time from Ramsey. That was the chance. The race for top 5 is going to be interesting, though, because you've got Chelsea on 43 points, Man City on 41 points, Newcastle on 41 points, and Bournemouth on 40 points. And I still think Aston Villa will look at it and go, 37, we're a little bit far back, but if they can build a bit of momentum, Aston Villa, I mean, look, their next few fixtures in the league are not definite winners, but Ipswich at home, Chelsea at home, that's a 6-pointer. Crystal Palace away and Brentford away, and then Villa at home. They need to win a lot of those games if they want to get into the top 5 race. And I think it will be top 5 this year, won't it, that get in the Champions League? Because last year, English clubs dropped the ball, but I think this year we're on track for that 5th place being a Champions League spot. When do you think Rashford comes on? I think he'll get any time in the next 10 minutes, yeah. Probably put him on for Ramsey or Bailey, won't he? Mahomes is just another Brady hard to impossible to beat. I woke up, Liverpool lost. The FA Cup is wide open for all, says Sulai. Who's your favourite Eagles players and what's your favourite state, says Mr. Starfish. I don't know loads about. I don't really. I mean, I do like the NFL, but I don't really know. I don't watch teams enough to really pick up on one or two players. I think the way the Eagles play, it's very much rush football. So they play percentage, they play possession and move forward. Whereas I like teams like, Josh Allen and the Bills, who are trying to pass forward. But so I would say for the Eagles, the quarterback hurts because I think at least he's got the potential to be throwing the ball. But I normally always go for the quarterback. I think that's the best aspect of the game, isn't it? But hopefully it'll be a close one. I think the Super Bowl's always good when it's a close one. Trying to make it work, but man, it's not lived up to. I thought there was going to be a lot more goals in this game, actually. Hi Mark, if Man United or Spurs win the Europa League, do the top 5 still get Champions League? Yes, it's completely separate, mate. Top 4 is allocated to the league. The 5th spot is to do with something else. And then if you win the Europa League, that's a distinctive thing as well. So we could have 6 in it, yeah. Thank you, Luke Stevenson, for your chat. Lord McFred says, I'm no expert, but I fancy the Eagles to win later. Thank you very much. Getting excited about it now. Good play by Ramsey. That'll be a free kick. I think it's going to be a yellow card as well. Why would Liverpool play reserves for the FA Cup, but the top team for the League Cup? FA Cup more prestigious and counts for treble. Sorry if already covered, says Lucy Swam. I think because the Carabao Cup represents one game from Wembley and a trophy, whereas the FA Cup still has a lot more games, and the latter stages will be taking place when you're trying to win the league and the Champions League. I think the timing of the Carabao Cup lends itself more to Liverpool than the FA Cup. All waiting for Rashford now. Where's your wedding ring? Good story, AT. Got divorced today. No, good story, right? Kitchen door has a handle on it that's got like a little groove curl on it. About 3 weeks ago, closed the door, went to walk away, and the groove got caught on it, and it absolutely killed my finger. I thought that was lucky. This morning, same thing happened, but I was in a rush, so I was actually moving away from the door quite quickly. Hooked onto it. Absolutely killed. Really hurt. Like, basically just yanked the ring. And having seen the story about Dan Burn last night and his finger getting ripped off on a ring, I was like, I'm just taking... When I'm around the house, I'm taking my ring off now. I cannot do that. It's too dangerous. I'm going to change until I've changed the door handle. It's coming off in the house. Rashford coming on. It's the half an hour or so we've been waiting for. Mallon into Bailey. Into Mallon. Goal over. There we go. Game over. Rashford will be coming on. But it's Morgan Rogers who's won this game for Villa. And it's game over. And it could be the end of Ange. I mean, I don't know. I don't know whether it will be the end for Ange. But it's not looking good, bruv. Yeah, and it's all... It's all from Mallon again. I mean, Spurs just haven't been able to hold the ball up, but it's lovely play. Mallon again drives forward, nice ball into Bailey, back into Mallon. Cross comes in, and it ends up at Morgan Rogers' feet. You've got to say that Mallon's been fantastic. He's been absolutely fantastic for Villa, and looks like he could be a really decent player, especially when you've got people like Asensio, Marcus Rashford, Leon Bailey, Jacob Ramsey, and Ollie Watkins to come back. It looks quite promising. Competition for places up front can do wonders for your goal difference. And goals win games. Breaking news. But it's going to be a good win for Villa this now. 25 minutes to go. They can get Rashford on. CFC Twitter asking us to take back Jaden, says DV. Rashford's on. I think Asensio's on as well here. This is going to be really interesting for me as a Man United fan, because his work rate running around was almost non-existent at times. Here he is with a new opportunity, a new fan base. I think over the years, Rashford has become quite predictable in the way that he plays the game. Always wants to get a shot off, likes to run at people. People tend to double up on him. But he's also been playing in a team that doesn't really provide service. This team, Villa, lower expectations? No, not really. They're better than Man United. My God, I've just seen Marcus Rashford jump for a header and win it. I don't think he's done that for 18 months. And he's injured the centre-back as well. Ange can't believe it. Could be losing another centre-back here. Yeah, he just catches him on the top of the head with his elbow. It's accidental, that isn't. There's no... there's nothing deliberate about that. He's just caught him with his elbow. Porro, Villa's best player by miles, says HPN. Surely it's the end for Big Ange, says James H. Shame, really. And Sriral says, both United and Spurs have got the same issues. Too many touches and no quick first passes. Yes, very well observed. I don't think Rashford leads with his elbow there. I don't think that's even a foul. I just think he's up quicker and the defender ends up jumping into the elbow. I mean, God, over the years, I've seen people lead with their elbow and that wasn't leading with your elbow. Peter Gaskin says, I haven't seen Rashford contest for a header, never mind win one in 18 months. He's done it in 18 seconds for Villa. Well, yeah, you know, it's a fair point, well made. But I think we're going to see that. What do Villa fans think about signing Rashford, says the Wheelbarrow. I know a few Villa fans. I think they're quite pragmatic about it. I think they're sort of like, if he can come in and do a job for us between the end of the season and help us get Champions League football, then it's a no-brainer. I don't think they're expecting him to be part of their future beyond the summer. Effectively, it's like friends with benefits, isn't it? They're not intending it to be a long-term marriage. It's just, you know, if we can help each other out, it's in everybody's interest. Enter the box. Tillemans blocked. 20 minutes for Villa to get, well, I'd say 20 minutes for Spurs to get back into this. I just don't see it. Don't see it at all. Very disappointing from Spurs. But I think, you know what? I do it with United, and I'm sure everybody else does it with, I'm sure Spurs fans do it as well. Here's Digne, and the cross was there, but it's gone out. I think there's this assumption that Spurs are better than they actually are. They are where they are. Like, they're in the bottom half of the table because they're not very good. Man United are in the bottom half of the table because they're not very good. And then they turn up and they're not very good, and people sort of see it. Digne across the back post. Oh, nearly drops to Tillemans. But it's look, I know everyone's focused on Rashford, but it's also good for him and Asensio coming into a game like this, 2-0 up. Spurs have got to try and open up a little bit, leave space at the back, fresh legs. Spurs are on a downer. Zane says, do you think it feels weird seeing Rashford in a Villa shirt? Well, it is, but having said that, lovely take by Asensio. Having said that, here we go. Rodgers back into Asensio. Options. Rodgers. Oh, it's the side netting. Yeah, I mean, it's weird seeing him in a Villa shirt, but to be honest with you, I'd say over the last 3 years, bar, you know, a few months, it's probably quite consistent that the end has been coming, really. Lovely play by Asensio, though. I mean, technically, that's... obviously, all the headlines will be Rashford, but I think Malen was brilliant today for Villa, and he's a permanent signing. I think that Garcia has looked promising, and he's a permanent signing. And also, don't forget Asensio. Asensio is a loan deal. I mean, he's looked very tidy since he's come on as well. So, a lot for Villa to be positive about, because they've done a lot of business in January. Kane and Son have been keeping us afloat for years in the top 6. We are where we deserve to be, says the Spurs way. And Fahad says, Aston Villa's attack looks like Liverpool's now. So much good players. I think the positive for Villa is the positive I spoke about in the first half. You look at Malen and, yeah, he makes intelligent runs and I think he can score goals. But he's also... creative. Asensio's creative. I thought that was a foul on Rashford, really. I'm surprised they didn't give this. Definitely did look like a foul. Yeah, 100% that's a foul. I mean, I don't know how the referee's not given that. 100% that was a foul. Son wasted at Spurs. Would have loved him at United, says Stevie. Look, you can't, you know, Son's an absolute legend, isn't he, in South Korea? He's a legend at Spurs. He's had a good career there. Can't knock him for staying at Spurs, but I think we all know that if it had been at Liverpool for the last 4 years, Son on one side, Salah on the other, it'd be very interesting, wouldn't it? Would I have liked to seen Son at a better team? It's only the same as Kane, but I don't think we're going to see it now. FA Cup football, so much more exciting without VAR, says Rossi. See, he's had a good game for them, Garcia. And I quite like the look of this young lad at the back, Bogard, as well. Villa just look, I mean, look, it's only one game and they are playing Spurs, but Villa look like they're buzzing, really. Jacob Ramsey, could be 3. Good save by the keeper. Spurs are ragged now. Kingsky made a big save one-on-one. A lot of people saying Rashford looks very sharp. I've been talking about this on That's Football for the last week. If you don't think Marcus Rashford is suddenly going to be really fit, really sharp and put loads of effort in, I mean, where have you been? How many times in your life have you seen players that aren't playing go somewhere else and suddenly start putting the effort in because they've got a point to prove? I'd be surprised if it didn't happen. As I said, it happened with Sancho the first few weeks at Chelsea. The question will be, is it sustainable? I hope it is, because we'll get value. Difference in body language speaks volumes, says Uza101. Kulusevski into the box, does well, cuts it back, corner. I think that Villa are playing quite a lot of his salary, actually. Big difference in conference levels for the two teams, says Patrick Lynch. Corner to Spurs. Basuma needs to go wide there. I mean, Tell has been on the pitch the whole game, hasn't he, for Spurs? Not really had a look in. Here's Porro. Oh, my God. Danzo, back post, should have scored. Hi, Mark. Big fan of yours, even as a Liverpool supporter. Keep up the great work, says Matt. Yeah, don't forget, Super Bowl tonight, live from 11 o'clock on the channel. Really excited about that. And this has been a decent game. I mean, I think Spurs have been very disappointing again, but Villa have looked good. And more importantly, I think for Villa, the signings have been very exciting for them. Everybody's looking up for it. The thing about Villa is can they start climbing the league? Name your 3 biggest shocks in the FA Cup as Liverpool just got knocked out. Well, Joel, I wouldn't put Liverpool going out to Plymouth with their reserves 1-0 as the biggest shocks. I mean, in my lifetime, I remember 1988, Sutton United, non-league side, knocked out the holders Coventry in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. And in those days, everybody put their strongest team out. Same season, 1988, Wimbledon beat Liverpool in the FA Cup final, and that Liverpool side was unbelievable. And I believe a few weeks earlier in the league, they'd beaten Wimbledon 8-0. So that was a massive shock in a final, because Wimbledon were massive underdogs. And I remember Wrexham knocking Arsenal out in the 3rd round as well. So yeah, a few shocks there, yeah. Sorry, I've just lost my live chat. Let me get it back. There it is. Hey, well done on the research, Mark, says Jim. No, I actually do know a lot about the FA Cup. Believe it or not, it used to be used to be very, very important to a lot of people of a certain age. It's a little bit harder to remember now because so many teams don't take it as serious. So the cup shocks always come with a bit of a context. I tell you what, Porro's a dirty player, isn't he? I mean, I don't know whether he's like this all the time, but he's certainly... dirty. Chance for Villa to whip a cross in here. 10 minutes to go. There's no way back for Spurs. I mean, I suppose thoughts now turn to whether Spurs are actually going to sack Ange. I don't think it's necessarily a good idea unless you've got a new manager lined up. I can't see Bournemouth's manager wanting the Spurs job now. It's the same as Amorim, isn't it? I think the Spurs job is an interesting job, but do you want it in February when you've already got a good job? Because until... this is the problem that Amorim's had. You take that Spurs job now, and they've got lots of injuries, and they need a rebuild. You want to do that in the summer when there are funds and you can pre-season train. So if Spurs sack Ange, you're probably heading towards an interim. In which case, is an interim likely to win the Europa League? And Spurs have got to believe they can win the Europa League because it's all they've got left. If they don't win the Europa League, they don't get any European football because they're too low in the league now, and then they lose a load of money. So I mean, but then again, you'd have to know from the inside whether there's no chance of winning. Have the players down tools for Ange, in which case you may as well make the change. But Spurs have got to try and win the Europa League. Now, is that better for them to stick with Ange or make a change? But making a change, I don't see who comes into Spurs in February. I can see them getting a... I mean, look, they could go Ten Hag, they could go Southgate, but... I mean, imagine that. Amorim needs to win the Europa League, Spurs need to win the Europa League, and they've got Ten Hag. That would be interesting, but I don't see Spurs... I think Spurs is a... I don't see Spurs as a managerial change. I see a new manager bounce. They've got good players, but I don't see it... I don't see it being a managerial change. And Spurs Way says they won't do it yet. I wouldn't do it yet as well. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. And don't forget, even if you're just tuning in to see what it's all about, 11 o'clock tonight, Super Bowl stream. We do it every year. It grows every year, and we enjoy doing it every year. I'll be having my American sweets and everything at the start, so you can tune in for that. And we'll be explaining how the game works if you're not sure. And it's always a cracking stream, so you'd be very welcome to join us. In fact, it's already set up on the channel if you want to get in the live chat. Villa on the break again. Asensio, he's looked good. Another cross. And I'm sure Rashford would just love to get a chance here, but not had anything yet. Nearly 17,000 tuning in. Don't forget this week as well, we've got the first leg of Man City against Real Madrid at the Etihad on Tuesday. Remember, they play the second leg next week, so massive week in the Champions League. And Everton, the last ever Merseyside derby. It's that game in hand. It's Everton against Liverpool on Wednesday night. So a big week of football, and we're very, very excited about it. I'm going to sneeze. I think that was just excitement. CJ says Kamara at the back's been brilliant for Villa. Not even a centre-back, mate. They're better with him in the midfield. Klopp joined Liverpool in a similar scenario, says Nilo. Rashford looks tired already. Hands on his knees, bent over, says Happy Hour Network. Hey, but look, Villa are in a good position here because yeah, you can have a look at Rashford, you can have a look at Asensio, but Malen worked really well, didn't he? Oh, he's caught, Bogart's caught Tell right on the back of the ankle there. Ooh, it's going to hurt that. It's going to be sore in the morning. Sakin says, Mark, we can't say Liverpool wasn't an upset. Apart from Salah and Gakpo, they had every attacker on. This has to be upset of the season for sure. That's definitely an upset, mate. 100%. We've just been talking about Liverpool not putting their best team out. Happy Hour Network, thanks for your super chat. Nilo as well, and Sakin. How about Wigan beating Man City 2013, says Constantine. Yeah, but that's the thing, isn't it? It's a recent, the FA Cup sort of lost its thing. Cominic says F1 champion 2025. Depends on the cars, mate. Asensio is beautiful with the ball at his feet, says Sakin. And Mark says Jackie, do you know the song Violet from Mother's Grave? Very haunting was the song Mary Jane Kelly was heard singing the day she passed, the 5th of the canonical Jack the Ripper victim, says Jackie G. I don't know that song, but I do know I'm very interested in the Ripper stories. Goldio says, who wins the Super Bowl tonight, the Chicago Bulls or the New York Yankees? That's just stereotypical anti-Super Bowl shit. There's Kulusevski. Still a few minutes to go in this one. Lovely play by Kulusevski. Sent McGinn back there. Bergvall. Good defending. Kamara has been very good at the back for Villa. And now they'll break away. Oh, Rashford was nearly in. 1-on-1. Well done. Now Kulusevski gets it. Can we get a barnstorming finish here? Can Spurs get a goal? 2 cup ties, no goals. None at Anfield, none at Villa Park. And that's a bad pass. I reckon I would have been a good quarterback. I can throw it about 10 metres. A Plymouth player lost a tooth to an elbow today, says JJ. Porro looks like Steve-O's brother from Jackass, says no retreat, no agenda. Thoughts on Real with the Spanish ref, says Josh. I need context, mate. Morgan Rogers, man of the match, says Farhead. Yeah, I do think Kamara's played well for them, and I thought Malen played well as well. So, good positives for Villa. Surprised they didn't give it Rashford, to be honest with you. The British press can't leave him alone. I am on the 8 o'clock on United Stand, and then we're back on here at 11. You'd have been a linebacker for sure. Always up for it, says Pizza. Rashford's loan an obligation to buy? No, it's not, barely. It's not. Tal gets it wide to Son. If Spurs are going to do anything, they need to do it now. Son shoots from distance. Spence had made the overlap. Have you ever noticed when teams are panicking, people start making panicking decisions? And we definitely saw it there. There's Rashford. He may as well go on his own. Good tackle. Man, think he's given a foul anyway because Rashford overran it. And he catches Archie Gray. Yeah, good defending by Archie Gray, and he does catch him. That's just a lack of sharpness from Rashford there. I think he hasn't played for 6 weeks and just doesn't really get it out of his feet, does he? I mean, Archie Gray at centre-back for Spurs still. How many weeks has that been going on? I mean, maybe he will end up being a centre-back, but it wasn't the plan, was it? Is this the end for Ange, says Linda? Well, it could be. It could be, Linda. We'll have to wait and see. Some people thought it might have been last week. The fact that they're not scoring goals has to be a massive concern. 5 minutes added on. They could add 50 minutes. I don't think it makes any difference. JFB's just turned in. How's Rashford been? He's only been on for, what, 20 minutes, to be fair, mate. First 5 or 10 minutes looked really up for it, but... Goal! And I tell you what, it's Tell. And it's a good goal by Tell. Took it really well. 2-1, 5 minutes to go. Tell scores. Took it well. Took it very well. Lovely finish. 4 minutes to go. Kulusevski whips the cross in. I'll tell you what, he took that. That was a very good finish. Yeah, I think Rashford looked sharp for about 10 minutes. Now he looks a bit, you know, match fitness obviously is going to take time. I know he's trained all week with Villa, but he hasn't played a competitive game for United since early December, so... Match fitness-wise, it's going to be a problem. That's a lovely finish by Tell. Would Thomas Frank go to Spurs, says Tanishk? Yeah, I think he'd be... You know what? I think Thomas Frank could be a good idea for Spurs because he would... Obviously, Ange plays a very high line. It's very progressive, whereas I think Thomas Frank would still look to be progressive, but a little bit better organised. And I think the way Spurs play, they probably would be better, being better off, better defensively. Can Spurs get another... We could have extra time here. I mean, Villa would be kicking themselves if it did happen. Kulusevski with another cross. Keeper's got that. 3 minutes to go. Bit of exciting at the end. Ali says they're going to equalise. Hertzler to Spurs, says Jake. Deitch, caretaker for Spurs, says USA Red Devil. Yorkshire Spurs. Cross comes in. Martinez catches it. Would... Lots of people are talking about my finger getting ripped off by my ring. Well, it's not going to happen now because I took it off. Until I change the handle on that door, I'm not putting it back on in the house. 90 seconds to go here. Shriman says, do you like Goldbridge, Silverbridge or Tinbridge? Go for the corner. Ramsey's got the ball for Villa. Silly foul by Sarr, that. I mean, you've got about 90 seconds to go and you just commit a foul that's going to use up 60 seconds. I mean, you've got to feel for Spurs fans. Low IQ players. We have this at Man United and Spurs have certainly got it as well. Why would you make that foul there and waste a minute when there's only a minute left? Stupidity. Drivers' Championship odds for F1 this year. Lando Norris is favourite, 2-1. Then it's Max Verstappen, Leclerc, Hamilton, Piastri, Russell. So McLaren is expected to be good this year. I'll certainly watch the first race whenever it is. Oh, Asensio put it on a plate there. Rashford nearly got the cutback. I don't know how. That's it. Final whistle. I don't know how Villa didn't make it 3-1. Ange shakes hands with Emery. He doesn't wear gloves. Emery's very happy. And a good win for Aston Villa against Spurs. Both took it seriously. You can't argue about that. Both picked their strong teams. But Tell gets his first goal for Spurs. Can't complain about that. Next to no service and converted a good chance. Could be a good player, that Tell. I think he's got a lot of potential. Time will tell. But will time be up for Ange Postecoglou? At the end of the day, mate, I don't fucking know, do I? You know, you bloody idiot. What a stupid question that is. You know, what are you asking about my job for after I've lost a game again? Bloody hell, mate. You know. Talk about kicking a bloke when he's down. Bloody hell, mate. Anyway, we're back on this channel, 11 o'clock, the Super Bowl. Get ready to go. Can't wait. I'm also on the United Stand at 8 o'clock. We'll be talking about lots of stuff on there as well. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Speak to you all a bit. Can't wait. And thanks for tuning in for this one. Well done to Villa. Good game. And some of their new signings look very exciting. Are they on the march for silverware in 2025? Speak to you all in a bit. Take care. Don't miss the Super Bowl at 11. I'll have my sweets out.